Warning: this story contains BL, boys love, romance, strong language / cursing, suggestive themes, possessive behavior, tension and flirting, mature romance themes, violence / blood. Mention toxic chemistry, 18 plus audience, recommended viewer discretion is advised. This story is a work of fiction and is intended for entertainment purposes only. Rain hammered against the apartment windows, hard enough to shake the glass. Kai barely noticed. He was too busy glaring at the idiot currently bleeding onto his kitchen floor. "You're getting blood on my damn tiles," Kai snapped, tossing a towel at him. The man caught it one-handed. Even injured, he looked unfairly dangerous. Tall, broad shoulders, black tattoos crawling up his throat, silver rings on rough fingers, and eyes so dark they looked almost hungry. "Your first concern is the floor?" the stranger asked, voice rough with amusement. "My first concern is why a 6-foot criminal climbed through my window at 2 in the morning. The man smirked. "Maybe I wanted to see you." "Bullshit. Maybe I wanted you specifically." Kai rolled his eyes so hard it hurt. "You're delirious." The stranger leaned back against the cabinet, bloody hand pressing against his ribs. "You always this mean? You always break into random apartments?" "Yes." "Fair." Kai sighed dramatically before crouching in front of him with the first aid kit. "Lift your shirt." The stranger's eyebrow lifted slowly. That sounded filthy. "Oh my God, shut the hell up." But when the man lifted his shirt, Kai froze for half a second. Abs. Scars. Muscle packed onto muscle. The kind of body that looked carved out of violence itself. And unfortunately, Kai had eyes. "See something you like?" the man murmured. Kai immediately shoved alcohol into the wound. "Hard." The man hissed. "Serves you right. You're cute when you're aggressive. You're annoying when you breathe." The stranger laughed quietly. Deep, dangerous. The kind of laugh that settled low in Kai's stomach in a way he absolutely hated. Kai wrapped the bandage tightly around the man's ribs. Too tightly. "Trying to kill me?" "Thinking about it." The man suddenly grabbed Kai's wrist. Fast, warm fingers wrapping around him firmly enough to stop him cold. Kai looked up and immediately regretted it, because the man was staring at him like he wanted to ruin him. Completely. "You talk a lot of shit for someone trembling," he murmured. "I'm not trembling." "You are." Kai yanked his hand back. "Maybe because there's a bleeding psycho in my apartment." The man leaned closer anyway. Close enough for Kai to smell smoke and rain and something sharp underneath. "You got a name?" Kai asked carefully. "Ronan." "Of course your name is fucking Ronan." Ronan grinned lazily. "And yours?" "Kai." "Kai," Ronan repeated slowly like tasting it. "Pretty name." Kai scoffed. "You flirt with everybody after home invasion, or am I special?" "You're special." The answer came too fast, too honest, and for some stupid reason, Kai's face heated. He hated that. Ronan noticed immediately. "Oh, there it is." "There what is?" "That look." Kai narrowed his eyes. "What look?" "The one that says you want me to pin you against this counter." Kai choked, actually choked. "You're insane, and yet you haven't kicked me out." "That's because you'd probably bleed to death on the sidewalk and somehow make it my problem." Ronan stood slowly, towering over him now. Kai swallowed hard. Bad idea, very bad idea, because up close, Ronan was terrifying. Not just because he was huge, but because he looked at Kai like he already owned him. "You curse a lot," Ronan murmured. "You flirt too much. You blush too easily." "Fuck you." Ronan's grin turned filthy. "That can be arranged." Kai stared at him in horror for exactly 3 seconds before bursting into laughter. "Jesus Christ!" "There's the laugh," Ronan said softly. Something in his tone made Kai pause, because suddenly, the teasing was gone. Now he looked hungry again. Not joking hungry. Worse, the kind that made Kai's pulse spike. "You keep staring at my mouth," Ronan said. "I literally am not." "You literally are." Kai crossed his arms defensively. You're unbelievably cocky. And you like it. I absolutely do not. Ronan stepped closer. Kai stepped back. Counter. Trapped. Well, Ronan murmured, bracing one hand beside Kai's head. You haven't told me to move. Kai opened his mouth. Nothing came out. Ronan noticed that too. Of course he did. Cute, he said darkly. Kai shoved at his chest weakly. You're impossible. And you're staring again. Kai hated that he was right. Hated it even more when Ronan tilted his head down slowly, giving him every chance to move, every chance to stop this. Kai should have. Instead, he grabbed Ronan's shirt and kissed him first. Messy, angry, stupidly heated. Ronan made a low sound in his throat that nearly destroyed Kai on the spot. Then suddenly huge hands grabbed Kai's waist and lifted him straight onto the counter. Holy shit! You kiss like you're picking a fight, Ronan muttered against his mouth. Maybe I am. Ronan laughed softly, then kissed him harder, and Kai immediately realized, oh, this was a mistake, because the man kissed like sin itself. Rough hands, sharp teeth, possessive grip. The kind of kiss that left his brain completely blank, except for heat and swearing. When Ronan finally pulled back, Kai looked absolutely wrecked. Ronan looked way too pleased about it. Damn, he murmured. You're even prettier like this. Kai flipped him off breathlessly. Shut the hell up. Part 3. By the third day, Ronan was still in Kai's apartment. At this point, Kai was starting to think the man was a cockroach. An extremely hot cockroach. You're eating my food now? Kai asked flatly. Ronan looked up from the kitchen table, completely unbothered. You made pancakes. I made pancakes for me. You made enough for 2. Kai narrowed his eyes. I hate how observant you are. Ronan smirked around a bite of pancake. You like taking care of me. I like avoiding murder charges. Same thing. Kai rolled his eyes and dropped into the chair across from him. The apartment felt strangely normal now. Too normal. Like Ronan belonged there, which was insane, because Kai still barely knew anything about him besides 1. He was hot. 2. He was dangerous. 3. He flirted like it was a full-time job. And honestly, that combination was ruining Kai's life. You got work today? Ronan asked casually. Yeah. What do you do again? Kai sighed dramatically. I tattoo idiots who think getting matching names after 2 weeks is romantic. Ronan laughed. You're a tattoo artist? Unfortunately. That explains the attitude. What's that supposed to mean? You've got tiny, angry artist energy? Kai kicked him under the table. Ronan barely reacted. Violent little thing. You're just built like a damn wall. Come sit on my lap and say that again. Kai nearly inhaled his coffee wrong. You cannot say shit like that this early in the morning. Why not? Because some of us are trying to survive. Ronan's grin turned lazy. Cute. Kai flipped him off. Again. At this point, it was basically their love language. The word love immediately made Kai internally recoil. Absolutely not. Nope, not happening. He'd known this man for 3 days. 3. And yet Ronan somehow filled every room he entered, every silence, every thought. It was irritating as hell. You're staring again, Ronan said. Kai groaned loudly. Can you stop noticing things? No. Terrible personality trait. You still kissed me. Kai threw a napkin at him this time. You're obsessed with that. You climbed into my lap voluntarily, Kai. Kai covered his face. Please shut the fuck up. Ronan only laughed harder. Part 4. Kai's tattoo shop smelled like ink, coffee, and poor decisions, which honestly described most of his life. You look exhausted, his co-worker Mina said immediately. Kai dropped into his chair dramatically. There's a giant criminal flirting with me in my apartment. Mina blinked once. Excuse me? He got stabbed, climbed through my window, and now he won't leave. There was a long silence. Then, that's the hottest thing I've ever heard. Kai stared at her in betrayal. You're supposed to be concerned. I am concerned, she said. concerned you haven't climbed him like a tree yet. Kai buried his face into the desk. You're both horrible, Mina grinned. So how hot is he? Kai stayed silent. Mina gasped. Oh my God. Kai stayed silent harder. Oh, he's hot hot. It's actually ruining my mental stability. Tattooed? Yes. Broad shoulders? Yes. Looks like he could kill someone? Probably yes. Mina slapped the desk dramatically. You lucky bitch, Kai pointed at her. Don't encourage this. Too late, Kai sighed. The worst part? She wasn't even wrong, because Ronan was stupidly attractive. Not just physically either. It was the way he looked at Kai. Like every sarcastic comment was entertaining. Like every glare was adorable. Like Kai himself was something worth paying attention to. And honestly, that scared him more than the criminal part. Because nobody had ever looked at him like that before. That night, Kai came home exhausted. The apartment lights were already on. Ronan was cooking. Kai stopped in the doorway. Why are you in my kitchen wearing my shirt? Ronan looked over his shoulder calmly. Because you left it out. That is theft. You look cute in oversized hoodies. I got curious. Kai's brain completely short-circuited. You what? Ronan smirked. Kai hated how attractive that expression was. Dinner smelled incredible, which was somehow even more offensive. You cook too? Kai muttered suspiciously. I can do lots of things. That sounded threatening. It was supposed to sound sexy. Kai dropped onto a stool. You're ridiculous. You're staring again. Shut up. Ronan walked over slowly, dangerous, confident, like he already knew Kai wouldn't move away. And damn it, he was right. Ronan stopped between Kai's legs, hands settling on the counter beside him. Close. Too close. Kai swallowed hard. You keep looking at me like you want to fight me, Ronan murmured. Maybe I do. Ronan leaned down slightly. But you kiss me instead. Kai's face heated instantly. I'm beginning to regret that. No, you're not. No, I'm not. Ronan grinned victoriously before kissing him again. Slow, warm, addicting. Kai hated how quickly he melted into it now, like his body had already learned Ronan's touch, which felt dangerous in ways he didn't want to think about. When Ronan pulled back, Kai looked dazed. Ronan looked smug. Damn, he murmured softly. You're really getting attached to me. Kai immediately shoved his face away. Don't ruin the moment with feelings. Part 5. 3 weeks later, Ronan still hadn't left. At this point, Kai had accidentally acquired a terrifying boyfriend shape problem, and somehow he didn't entirely hate it, mostly because Ronan acted absurdly soft with him when nobody else was around, which was confusing, because outside the apartment, Ronan was cold, sharp, untouchable. But with Kai, he laughed, cooked dinner, stole hoodies, held Kai against his chest while they watched terrible late-night horror movies, and kissed him like he was addicted to it. Which honestly, he probably was. You're staring at me again, Ronan muttered from the couch. Kai glared from where his head rested in Ronan's lap. You're smug for someone using me as a blanket. You like being my blanket. I like your couch. Liar. Kai hated that he was right. Ronan's fingers slid lazily through Kai's hair. The gesture felt almost too gentle for someone like him. Kai frowned slightly. You know, he muttered, you still haven't explained what you actually do. Silence. Ronan's hand paused briefly. Kai immediately sat up. Oh my God. What? You're in the mafia, aren't you? Ronan looked offended. The mafia? You literally got stabbed. Rude. You have scary tattoos and know how to fight. That doesn't mean mafia. Kai narrowed his eyes. Drug dealer? Ronan snorted. No. Hitman? Ronan laughed harder. Kai pointed dramatically. That was too fast. Ronan grabbed Kai's wrist and pulled him back into his lap easily. You ask too many questions. You avoid too many answers. Ronan's eyes darkened slightly. For the first time in weeks, the mood shifted. Kai noticed immediately. Ronan? Ronan looked away briefly before speaking quietly. You really want to know what kind of person I am? Kai blinked. The teasing was gone again. Now he just sounded tired. Kai's chest tightened unexpectedly. I already know enough, Kai said softly. Ronan looked back at him slowly. You do? You're annoying, Kai said. Cocky, flirty. You steal my food. Ronan snorted quietly. And? Kai hesitated before muttering. You take care of me too. The apartment went silent. Ronan stared at him for a long moment, then suddenly grabbed Kai's face and kissed him hard enough to shut him up completely. Kai made a startled sound against his mouth. Ronan's grip tightened slightly. Fuck, Ronan muttered against his lips. You say dangerous shit sometimes. Kai blinked up at him breathlessly. What does that even mean? Ronan rested his forehead against his. It means you're making this harder than it's supposed to be. Part 6. Kai knew something was wrong the moment he opened the apartment door. Too quiet. Ronan was usually doing something. Cooking, teasing him, existing loudly. But tonight, nothing. Kai. His stomach dropped immediately. Ronan's voice sounded rough. Kai hurried toward the living room and stopped cold. Ronan sat on the couch holding a bloody towel against his side. Again. Oh, for fuck's sake! Ronan looked up tiredly. Missed you too? Kai threw his bag onto the floor. You disappeared for 2 days and came back bleeding again? Technically, it's a different stab wound. That is not better. Ronan actually laughed weakly. Kai wanted to strangle him. Instead, he dropped beside him and carefully pulled the towel away. The cut looked nasty. Kai hissed. Jesus Christ, Ronan. I've had worse. That sentence alone makes me want to fight you. Ronan watched him quietly while Kai cleaned the wound. The apartment felt tense, heavy. Kai finally snapped. What the hell do you even do? Silence then. I hurt people. Kai's hands paused. Ronan's eyes stayed on the floor. I get paid to scare people, he said quietly. Sometimes worse. Kai stared at him. No jokes, no flirting, just honesty. And somehow that hurt more. Kai, you should have told me. I know. Kai stood abruptly and paced the room. You disappear constantly, show up covered in blood, refuse to answer questions. What was I supposed to think? That I'm dangerous. You are dangerous. Ronan flinched slightly. The movement was small, but Kai noticed, and suddenly he felt awful, because Ronan looked genuinely braced for Kai to walk away. Like he expected it. Kai groaned and dragged a hand through his hair. God, this is such a mess. Yeah, you're still an asshole. That too. Kai looked at him for a long moment before sighing heavily. Move over. Ronan blinked. What? You're injured, idiot. Ronan stared as Kai sat beside him again. Then quietly, You're staying? Kai rolled his eyes aggressively. Unfortunately, I'm emotionally attached now. For the first time that night, Ronan smiled. Part 7. Ronan became weirdly clingy after that conversation. Not that he'd admit it, but suddenly he always had a hand on Kai somehow. Waist, thigh, back of his neck. Like he needed constant proof Kai was still there. Kai pretended not to notice, mostly because acknowledging it made his chest feel strange. You're crushing me, Kai complained from the couch. Ronan didn't move. You'll survive. You are literally built like a truck. Cute, Kai glared upward. You call everything cute. Because you are. Kai's face heated instantly. Shut up. Ronan only pulled him closer against his chest. Warm, solid, safe. Which was absolutely ridiculous considering Ronan probably had several crimes attached to his name. You know what your problem is? Kai muttered. I'm too handsome? You're emotionally constipated, Ronan snorted. That's rude. You literally confessed to being dangerous and then acted like I'd kick you out. Silence. Kai looked up slowly. Ronan's jaw tightened slightly. People usually do. The answer hit harder than Kai expected. Oh, Ronan looked away. And for some reason, that hurt, because Kai couldn't imagine looking at Ronan and only seeing something dangerous. Sure, the man was terrifying, but he was also the same idiot who stole Kai's hoodies and learned his coffee order after 2 days. The same man who tucked blankets around him when he fell asleep on the couch. The same man currently holding him like he was something precious. Kai reached up suddenly and grabbed Ronan's jaw. Ronan blinked down at him. "You're really bad at this feelings thing," Kai muttered. Ronan's expression softened slightly. "Yeah. But you're trying." A quiet pause. Then Ronan kissed him slowly. No teasing, no filthy comments, just warm and careful in a way that made Kai's heart beat stupidly hard. When they pulled apart, Ronan rested his forehead against Kai's. "You're gonna ruin me," he murmured. Kai smirked faintly. "Good." Part 8. Kai met Ronan's friends by accident and immediately understood why everyone found Ronan terrifying. The men inside the warehouse fell silent the second Kai walked in carrying takeout bags. One guy actually looked ready to pass out. Kai blinked. "Did I interrupt something?" Ronan appeared from another room instantly. And the second he saw Kai, his entire face changed, softened, like a damn switch flipped. "What are you doing here?" Ronan asked, walking over quickly. "You left your phone," Kai said slowly. "Also, you forgot dinner." Dead silence. Every man in the warehouse stared at Ronan like they just witnessed a supernatural event. One finally whispered, "He brought you food?" Ronan glared instantly. "Say something stupid and die." Kai stared between them. "Oh my God," another guy pointed shakily. "He smiles at you." Kai turned slowly toward Ronan. "You don't smile at them?" Ronan looked offended. "Why would I?" The entire warehouse looked traumatized. Kai burst out laughing immediately. "Oh, this is incredible." Ronan sighed dramatically. "They're annoying." One of the men looked at Kai carefully. "So? You're the reason he stopped threatening people every 10 minutes. I still threaten people." "Less," another muttered. Kai looked back at Ronan in disbelief. "You became nicer because of me?" Ronan shrugged slightly. The answer was apparently yes. Kai tried not to smile, failed horribly. Ronan noticed instantly. "Cute. Don't start. Too late." Ronan pulled him closer by the waist anyway. One of the guys immediately covered his eyes. "I'm gonna fucking vomit." "Then leave," Ronan said calmly. Kai laughed so hard he nearly dropped the takeout. Revised Part 9. It happened at 2 in the morning. Kai woke up because Ronan suddenly sat upright beside him. The apartment was dark except for the city lights leaking through the curtains. "You okay?" Kai mumbled sleepily. Ronan stayed silent for a second. Then, "My phone's ringing." Kai groaned dramatically and buried his face deeper into the pillow. "Tell whoever it is to fuck off." Ronan snorted quietly before grabbing the phone from the nightstand. Kai half listened while trying to fall back asleep. Then he noticed something strange. Ronan looked tense. Not dangerous tense, just distracted, annoyed. "Told you I'm busy," Ronan muttered into the phone. Pause. "No." Another pause. Then Ronan sighed heavily. "I said no." Kai peeked up blearily. "Everything okay?" Ronan ended the call and tossed the phone aside. "Yeah." "You're lying." Ronan looked over at him. Kai blinked slowly. "You get this little line between your eyebrows when you're annoyed." Ronan stared for a second before laughing softly. "You pay too much attention to me." "Unfortunately." Ronan leaned back against the headboard with a sigh. Kai scooted closer automatically. Half asleep. Warm. Ronan's arm wrapped around him immediately like muscle memory. The realization made Kai pause slightly, because somehow this had become normal, dangerously normal. "You want to tell me what happened?" Kai asked quietly. Ronan hesitated. "Someone wants me to leave town for a while." Kai frowned instantly. "What?" Ronan looked down at him carefully. "Stuff's getting complicated." Kai's chest tightened unexpectedly. "You're leaving?" The words came out way more upset than he intended. Ronan noticed immediately. "Kai, No, because if you disappear for another week, I'm changing the locks. Ronan smiled faintly. You'd miss me. You're annoyingly attached to my apartment. That too. Kai huffed and rested his chin against Ronan's chest. Silence settled for a moment. Comfortable. Then quietly, I don't really know how to do this. Kai blinked upward. Do what? Ronan looked oddly serious now. This. His hand tightened slightly around Kai's waist. You. Kai's heartbeat stumbled. Ronan rarely sounded uncertain. That alone made this feel important. Kai swallowed slowly. Well, he muttered, good news. Ronan raised an eyebrow. I also have no fucking idea what I'm doing. That pulled a laugh out of Ronan. Soft, real. Kai liked that sound way too much. You know what's messed up? Kai said after a minute. What? I thought you were terrifying when we first met. And now? Kai looked up at him lazily. Now you steal my hoodies and complain when I don't cuddle you enough. I do not complain. You literally dragged me back into bed yesterday. You were cold. I was getting water. You came back eventually. Kai snorted. Ronan brushed his fingers through Kai's hair quietly. The gentleness of it made Kai's chest ache in a weird way. You're staring again, Ronan murmured. Kai rolled his eyes. You say that every 5 minutes. Because you keep doing it. Maybe your face is the problem. Ronan grinned slightly. Obsessed with me. Delusional. Ronan leaned down slowly until their noses brushed. You love my delusions. Kai tried to look unimpressed. Failed horribly. Then Ronan kissed him. Slow, sleepy, warm enough to melt every sarcastic thought right out of Kai's head. When they pulled apart, Kai just stayed there against him quietly. Ronan's fingers traced lazy circles against his back. You're not leaving tonight though, right? Kai asked softly. Ronan looked at him for a long moment. Then, no. Something in Kai relaxed immediately. Ronan noticed that too. His expression softened. Damn, he murmured. You really got attached to me. Kai groaned and shoved his face into Ronan's chest dramatically. Shut the hell up and go to sleep. Part 10. Kai realized he was in love during the dumbest moment possible. Ronan was standing in the kitchen at 3 a.m, aggressively arguing with a grilled cheese sandwich. You burned it, Kai mumbled sleepily from the doorway. I didn't burn it. It's black. It's seasoned. Kai stared at him. Ronan stared back completely seriously. Then Kai burst out laughing. Hard. The kind that made his stomach hurt. Ronan watched him quietly for a second before smiling too. And suddenly Kai's chest hurt, because this terrifying man looked happiest standing barefoot in Kai's kitchen, arguing over bread. Oh fuck, that was bad. You okay? Ronan asked immediately. Kai pointed at the sandwich weakly. You committed a crime against cheese. Ronan narrowed his eyes suspiciously. You're acting weird. I'm always weird, not like this. Kai grabbed the plate dramatically. Go sit down before you burn water next. Ronan smirked. Bossy. You like it. Very much. Kai nearly dropped the sandwich. Part 11. Ronan started staying over permanently after that. Not officially, but his clothes slowly appeared everywhere. His boots near the door, his jacket over Kai's couch, his stupid, expensive cologne in the bathroom. You moved in without asking, Kai accused. Ronan looked up from the couch calmly. You bought me a toothbrush. That is not the same thing. You bought the expensive one too. Kai threw a sock at him. Ronan caught it easily. You're annoying. You're domestic. Kai gasped dramatically. How dare you? Ronan grinned lazily before pulling Kai into his lap. The movement had become automatic now, like Ronan always wanted him close somehow. Kai pretended not to love that. Failed terribly. You know, Kai muttered, playing with the chain around Ronan's neck, you're a lot softer than people think. Ronan snorted. Only with you. Kai froze slightly. Ronan said things like that too casually. like he didn't realize how dangerous they were to Kai's emotional stability. What? Ronan asked. You can't just say shit like that. Why not? It's true. Kai buried his face into Ronan's shoulder immediately. This relationship is attacking me personally. Part 12. Mina met Ronan officially 2 weeks later. It went horribly, mostly because Ronan enjoyed annoying Kai too much. So, Mina said slowly, you're the scary apartment boyfriend. Ronan nodded calmly. Kai talks about me? Kai choked violently. I do not. You literally called him stupidly attractive at work, Mina said. Kai looked ready to die. Ronan looked delighted. Did he now? I hate both of you, Mina pointed dramatically. He also said your voice is unfairly hot. Kai stood up instantly. I'm leaving the country. Ronan grabbed his wrist before he could escape and pulled him directly into his chest. You think my voice is hot? Ronan asked smugly. Kai covered his face. This is humiliation. Ronan leaned closer to his ear intentionally. Answer the question. Kai immediately turned red. Mina screamed, laughing from across the room. Oh my God, he's weak to flirting. I am not, Ronan smirked. You absolutely are. Kai hated how true that was. Part 13. The first real argument happened over something stupid. Ronan disappeared for 3 days without warning. No calls, no texts, nothing. So when he finally walked back into the apartment, Kai exploded. Are you fucking serious? Ronan blinked once. Hi? Don't hi me. Ronan slowly closed the door. You're mad. You vanished. I was busy. You could have texted. Ronan sighed heavily. Kai, no, actually, screw you. The apartment fell silent. Ronan stared at him carefully now, and suddenly Kai realized his hands were shaking. Not from anger. Fear. Because for 3 days Kai genuinely thought something terrible happened. Ronan noticed too. His expression softened instantly. Baby. Don't baby me right now. Ronan walked over slowly. Kai tried to glare. It lost power immediately when Ronan touched his face gently. I'm sorry. Kai blinked. Ronan almost never apologized. I should have called. Kai swallowed hard. You scared me. The honesty slipped out accidentally. Ronan's entire expression changed after that. Something softer, something guilty. Then suddenly he pulled Kai against his chest tightly. Fuck, Ronan muttered quietly into his hair. I'm really not used to someone caring if I come back. Kai's anger disappeared immediately, which was honestly irritating. You're still an asshole, Kai mumbled weakly. Yeah. You owe me food. I'll buy you anything. Kai looked up suspiciously. Can I get expensive ramen? Yes. Damn, that apology is serious. Ronan actually laughed. Part 14. Kai got sick and Ronan lost his mind. It's literally a cold, Kai croaked from bed. Ronan ignored him completely. You need medicine. I already took some. You need soup. You made enough soup to feed a village. You looked weak, Kai stared. You threatened a pharmacist earlier. He was taking too long. Kai groaned into the pillow. You cannot threaten people because I sneezed. He was rude. He said hello. Ronan sat beside the bed and pressed a hand against Kai's forehead carefully. The touch felt unfairly gentle. Kai sighed dramatically. You're acting like I'm dying. You sounded pathetic on the phone. I had a fever. You sounded cute. Kai threw a tissue at him weakly. Ronan caught it with a grin, then leaned down and kissed Kai's forehead softly. You're staying in bed, he ordered. Yes, Mom. Brat, Kai smiled sleepily. Ronan immediately looked distracted by it. You're staring now, Kai mumbled smugly. Ronan narrowed his eyes. Dangerous thing to say when you're trapped in bed, Kai laughed weakly. Honestly, being cared for like this felt terrifyingly nice. Part 15. It happened during a thunderstorm. Kai hated thunderstorms, always had. The loud crack outside made him flinch awake instantly. Ronan noticed immediately. You okay? Kai shrugged too fast. Ronan stared. Kai, I'm fine. Another crack of thunder echoed. Kai visibly tensed. Ronan immediately opened his arms. Come here, Kai glared. I am not a scared cat. Mm-hmm. Kai stayed still stubbornly for exactly 30 seconds before another loud boom shook the windows, then immediately climbed into Ronan's lap. Ronan looked unbearably smug about it. Not one word, Kai warned. I didn't say anything. You're thinking loudly. Ronan laughed softly and wrapped both arms around him securely. The storm kept raging outside, but inside warm, safe, quiet. Kai rested against Ronan's chest listening to his heartbeat. You know what's annoying? Kai muttered. What? I think I'm in love with you. Silence. Then Ronan stopped breathing. Kai immediately looked up. Ronan? The man looked genuinely stunned. You, don't make it weird. Ronan grabbed Kai's face so fast Kai squeaked. You love me? Kai turned red instantly. Oh my God, shut up! Ronan looked wrecked, completely wrecked. Then suddenly he kissed Kai hard enough to steal every remaining thought from his brain. When they finally pulled apart, Ronan rested his forehead against his and laughed softly. You have no idea what you just did to me. Kai blinked breathlessly. Hopefully emotional damage. Ronan laughed harder. Part 16. Last part 1 year later. Kai woke up, tangled in warm blankets and an even warmer Ronan. The apartment looked different now. Bigger couch, more plants, more tattoos sketched across random papers, and somehow more life. Ronan groaned sleepily when Kai tried to move. Stay. You're crushing my spine. You'll survive. Kai snorted softly. Some things never changed. Ronan still stole his hoodies, still flirted constantly, still looked at Kai like he hung the damn moon. And Kai still melted every single time. You're staring again, Ronan mumbled without opening his eyes. Kai gasped dramatically. You sense that in your sleep. Obsessed with me. Delusional. Ronan finally opened his eyes lazily, then smiled softly the second he saw Kai. There it was again, that stupid expression that made Kai fall apart inside. You know, Kai said quietly, tracing a finger across Ronan's tattooed arm, you're way less scary now. Ronan raised an eyebrow. Yeah? Now you're just emotionally clingy. Rude. You literally follow me into the kitchen every morning. You make coffee. You're helpless. You love me. Kai smiled despite himself. Unfortunately, Ronan pulled him closer immediately. Liar. Kai laughed softly before kissing him slowly. No chaos, no fear, no uncertainty anymore. Just warmth, just them. When they pulled apart, Ronan brushed his thumb across Kai's cheek gently. You still happy you let a bleeding stranger into your apartment? Kai pretended to think about it. Ronan narrowed his eyes suspiciously. Then Kai smiled. Yeah, he said softly. Best bad decision I ever made. Ronan kissed him again before Kai could get embarrassed. And honestly, Kai let him. The end. Join my Discord for early access videos, link in description.